Answer me this. What things in life motivate you? What things in life influence you? Only take 5 seconds. Okay, good. Alright, hold them. We'll come back to them later. Motivation plays a significant role in how we go about our day-to-day lives. Like if I was to ask you, why do you get up in the morning? Why do you go to work? Why do you eat? Most of you would say something like, oh, I have school, that's why I get up. I have to make money in order to pay bills, that's why I go to work. I'm hungry, that's why I eat. Of course, some motivators are a little bit more significant, a little bit more permanent than others. The point is that motivation can be taken from anywhere and everywhere. Us as humans, being very highly social creatures, look to others for motivation and influence all the time. Now, some may say that may be a bit unhealthy, and in some cases that might be right, but it's completely natural and we do it all the time. Ooh, posture check. You probably just adjusted your seating position if you're watching this seated, simply because you watched me do it, and then that made you take notice of your own posture. I just influenced your actions. We do this all the time anyway, so being aware of who your motivators and influencers are, and yes, that includes social media influencers, can be very useful to you as you'll be able to be more selective on where you should and where you shouldn't, who and who you shouldn't get motivation from or take motivation from, if you want to achieve your goals. So let's get into it. Now, we've all heard those statements that go like, comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to other people, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. You know, those happy-go-lucky, feel-good quotes. Now, there are some hints of truth in those statements, but I think they're just used in the wrong context. Like, the goal in life is not to be joyful and happy all the time. Like, joy and happiness, like all emotions, are not end states, they're driving factors. Just like how you can't say you're still driving a car once you've reached your destination. Your emotions aren't something you reach, they're something that get you to reach somewhere. They are driving forces that get you to move from one state to another. And you can't always use yourself as a comparison. Like, last place is still in last place like they were a lap ago if they haven't changed their position relative to the rest of the field. This is where comparing yourself to people who are currently where you want to be can actually be a good thing if used correctly. Like, as kids, we tend to look up to the adults in our lives. Think your parents, your teachers, celebrities. Actually, that last one most of us do more than anything else. But we looked up to them because they were in a position that we wanted to be at some point. Now that we're adults, we have to like pay taxes and things like that. So maybe being a kid wasn't so bad. Those people you look up to are doing better than you by comparison, and that can cause feelings of dissatisfaction, envy of your own state. And that's why the statement, comparison is the thief of joy, does hold a little bit of weight to it. But I don't think it should be looked at as something to be avoided at all, because those feelings of dissatisfaction could be the driving force you need to change your current position. Like, think back in school, you may have compared yourself to the kid who had better grades than you. Because you wanted to beat them, you put in more work so you can get higher grades. It's the same thing with like sports as well. You have team to team going against each other to prove who is better by comparison. Comparing yourself to other people in a better position than you can be some of the best motivators out there. Friendly competition is good and I absolutely recommend it. Like, insert yourself into an environment where you are not the top dog, like a boxing gym for example. When you look around, you will see how terrible you are in comparison to everyone else. But you can use that knowledge to then motivate you to train hard and become better, dominate that field. Unfortunately, most people will not do this. They will not put themselves in that situation in the first place. They don't want to leave their comfort zone, which is what comparison does, by the way. And this is where those hints of truth come into play. Sometimes comparison can serve as a demotivator. Making yourself aware of when and how that applies is very important. So let's discuss it. Okay, so comparison can definitely be seen as a demotivator as well. And the main reason for that would be because it can tend to be a little bit self-destructive, which holds some ground to it. If you see yourself as worse off than other people just simply by circumstance, then that can definitely be demotivating. But I think comparison has some much more subtle repercussions on your levels of motivation. Like, think for a second, why do you think your arts of fiction, you know, your novels, shows like Love Island, reality TV, Hollywood cinema, porn even, is so popular? Everything you're thinking right now is probably correct. Like, it's entertaining, people just like seeing good-looking people on TV. Man, people just want to get their rocks off, bro. Like, I get it. But something that came to me the other day is that we love, and I mean absolutely love, to see other people living out the lives that we want to live ourselves. We insert ourselves into our favorite characters, whether that be the book you're reading, the movie you're watching, the TV show, reality TV show you're viewing, and even porn as well. We put ourselves into the shoes of that character that we want to be ourselves. We love to live vicariously through others, and simply what living vicariously means is having an indirect experience. You are having an imaginary experience using someone else's reality. This is bad. Instead of living your own life, putting in the work to improve so you can have the reality they do, you are very happily, very content in just watching them do it, putting yourself into their shoes, because you get the same dopamine hit as you would if that was you. You get so attached to the love lives of people on your screen who are sitting around a campfire screaming, "I've got a text," that you don't see the problem with you looking down at your phone screen and it's blank. You ain't getting texts from anyone. With porn, you're watching somebody else have sex when you would much rather be doing that yourself. Comparatively, you're doing worse than that person, but you don't care because you get the same stimulation anyway. Like, why would you change anything? Another way is by comparing yourself to those you perceive as being beneath you. When you go about life with a mindset of, "Oh, I don't need to improve, I'm doing well because I'm better than blank individual," bro, that's a terrible mindset. Like, sure, you may be doing better than somebody else, and you may be very content with the situation that you're in, but the issue is that can lead to overcomplacency and stagnation. You wonder why you're not improving. You don't want to, you don't feel the need. If you're always doing better than somebody, then why change, why improve? But then by the same way, that means somebody's always doing better than you. But regardless, whether you're looking up to people or looking down on people, whether you use that as a form of motivation really boils down to what your current mindset is. And as I've discussed before, your mindset is the lens for your mind. It's how you view everything that happens to you. It's how you view reality. This brings mindset, fitness, and motivation all full circle. Your mindset influences not only your fitness, but then also the things that you look for motivation. If you're not motivated, then you're not going to be on your fitness, as well as if you're not motivated, then your mindset is not in the right place either. And you will have no reason to change your mindset if you are not motivated to do so. They all link. Okay, so back to the question I asked you at the start of this video. What things in life motivate you? What things in life influence you? Now that you've watched the video, has that list got any longer? Has anything changed? Have you seen new things that motivate you and influence you in your day-to-day? Depending on what your current mindset is, you can realistically find positive motivators for change anywhere in life. For example, the expression, "show me your friends and I'll show you your future," highlights how the people closest to you influence and motivate you to change, either for better or for worse. Like, think about when you attend a very formal event. You are motivated, you are prompted to change your behaviors even slightly because of the setting you're in. It's about your environment. When you go out in the day-to-day, there's always something motivating you, influencing how you act. And fear works in exactly the same way. The fear of failure is a very strong motivator. Being selective on what you choose to actually motivate you, what you choose to actually influence you, is pretty important, and all comes down to what your mindset is. If you have a very defeatist, pessimistic mentality, then you will see these motivators as constant challenges, barriers set up by life in order to just make you fail. But if you have a very optimistic, very opportunistic mindset, then you will see those motivators as inspiring you to do better, inspiring you to improve and level up. And the ones that don't do that, then you just simply disregard. If participating in an activity is detrimental to achieving your goals, then disregard it, man, even if it's enjoyable. That doesn't mean there's not times for enjoyment and pleasure and relaxation. It just means you should find the sources of that still motivate you to achieve your goals. For example, mine is traveling. It's not the easiest thing, but it's definitely a source of relaxation, and it motivates me to want to do it more and more often. If you can find those sources of pleasure that are also motivators for you to do better, then you will see improvement much, much faster. Like, start becoming very, very selective about who and where you get your motivations from. You'll soon see that it doesn't even need to be a lot of things. It's just few key things that are very influential on you, like 4 or 5 things that you just fully feed off of. Like, you don't need to take the advice from everybody who's giving it to you. I mean, you don't even have to take my advice if you don't want to, but then if you did, then you'd be being selective, which is kind of what I said anyway. but be selective. I want this channel to be a source of motivation to you, not just in the realm of physical fitness and like physique and things like that, which will be the prominent content I'll be making, but also just to get you to the apex aesthetic, just like how what I'm trying to do as well. I am learning with you. I will share what I know, I'll share what worked for me, I'll also share what didn't work for me so you can try it yourself to see if it best suits you. But bear in mind that while you're on this self-improvement journey, you are going to inevitably be a source of motivation for somebody, whether you are made aware of it or not. And with that comes like a sort of responsibility. So with that being said, I encourage you to cultivate a mindset of abundance, enhance your fitness, and just simply provide motivation where you can. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear your feedback as well as any ideas you have for types of videos you want to see on this channel. I have a book right here where I write down all my video ideas. I will simply just add it to the list. I also wanted to be like, if you have any topics that you are interested in, then I can go ahead, research it, and then come back to you with what my thoughts on it are, because that then also helps me, because then I'm also learning. Also means you have a little bit more of a say-so and a little bit more influence on the channel. It motivates me to do more. But until then, I've been Tahir Sutherland. See you at the top.